Hey guys, this is John. This is not part of an inconvenient truth. There is a teaching I've heard recently about, well, I heard it a while back and I totally disagree with it, but I'm not bashing the man who gave the message because, one, I may have missed part of the message, and two, he may have been focusing in a more nuanced way and I missed that nuance. So I don't want to sit here and say, oh, the guy's wrong or whatever else, but this is a teaching that is common in certain circles. And that teaching is that only the sacrificial animals had to be inspected before they were sacrificed, before they were taken in. He was saying the people never had to be inspected. That is incorrect. And the reason I know that's incorrect is one, there was entire purification rituals where they weren't allowed to go into the temple unless they had been purified, and there were certain illnesses that represented sin that were not allowed in. Leprosy, blindness, lameness, things of this nature. Okay, so to break this down, in the Old Testament, under the law, a physical representation of what is happening now, in the physical, there were people who were not allowed into the temple, as well as animals that had to be checked to be spotless before they could even enter the presence of God. Now, here's the thing. God, in his mercy, knew that there were people who, under the law, were not going to be able to go into the temple because, not because they didn't have a relationship with God, not because they weren't pursuing God, but because of physical ailments under the law. In the New Testament, Paul says God actually staved off, for those who were his servants, he staved off punishment until Christ was crucified. And that blood was shed to make sure that all those who were pursuing him, who were in love with him, had a relationship with him, were covered before judgment came. So when God looks at him, he goes, there's no sin here, right? That's the goodness of God. That's the amazing thing of God. But this idea that only the animals had to be inspected and people never have to be inspected, incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. The whole Old Testament, read Leviticus, Deuteronomy, half of the Old Testament talks about certain things not being allowed on the people. So I just want to clarify. And the reason that translates into modern is because Christ is our perfect, spotless lamb who was slain. We, because of his covering in his blood, also must refrain from sin and be sinless in ourselves, which we can't ever perfectly do, but that's why there's forgiveness. That's why there's the sacrifice. We take that and we live holy lives so we are acceptable to God. I hope this helps you guys. I love you. Be blessed.